Hi guys, Lou from Movement Room here, and welcome to roll and release for the upper body. Now today, for the purposes of the video, it's going to roughly be about 10 to 11 minutes. This should take you about 20 minutes. So again, for the purposes of the video, I'm going to go through our assessment, and then the roll and release through one side, and then our reassessment. And obviously when you're doing this at home, do both sides before you do the assessment. The equipment that we're going to need today is a full-size foam roller. Don't worry if you don't have a full-size foam roller. You can get a beach or a bath towel and roll it lengthways. That will recreate the same stretch that we're going to be using for the foam roller. And then for the actual rolling pieces, if you have your travel roller, that's going to work just as well. Okay, so like I say, for the purposes of the video, we are going to go through our assessment, roll and release on one side, and then I'm going to show you the reassessment, and then you guys obviously will do the second side on your own, okay? We're going to come to that standing position, and we're going to look for a global approach. So from our fascial systems, we are all encompassing, we are all one. So quite often if we have stiff lower body, we can affect it by stretching out the upper body. So our first assessment we're going to get into is our forward fold position. I'm just going to hang out here at the bottom and just take note of where we're feeling any of that restriction in our system. We're going to slowly work our way up to that standing position, getting our arms overhead if they can, getting our chin right up towards the ceiling if we can, and just paying attention and taking note to where we feel those restrictions going on in our body today. Okay, so now we're going to come to a seated position. I'm going to sit on my foam roller, but you don't have to. If it's easier or more comfortable for you to sit on the floor or a bolster, by all means, please do that as well. Excuse me. So we're now going to get into stretching our neck. Now, anybody that's involved in energy or chakras know that this is where most of our communication is stored, or issues with communication is stored. So we want to be really mindful that we're going to approach this in a really gentle kind of manner, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to landmark where our collarbones are. So these are these bony little structures that are just here. From here, we're going to take one hand, it doesn't matter which hand, and we're going to scoop or place it just underneath those collarbones. Our next hand comes right on top of that hand, and we're going to try and scoop down towards our belly button if we can, holding on to that tension and that little bit of pressure. From here, we're going to take a nice big breath in. On that exhale, we're going to lift our chin up towards the ceiling, keeping our hands onto our collarbones or just below our collarbones. And bringing that chin down. We're going to go again, nice big breath on in, and on that exhale, we're going to lift that chin up towards the ceiling, and this time we are just going to tilt our head over to one side. Doesn't matter what side, we're going to be doing both, and back to the center, and tilting our head over towards the other side. We can bring our chin down towards our shoulder, and back around towards the front. One last time, guys, big breath in. We're going to pull our collarbones down towards our belly button, and we're going to lift our chin up towards the ceiling. And we're going to take our chin down towards one shoulder, up and over towards the other shoulder, and then down towards the center, and then we're going to release. Okay, next we're going to get into our shoulders. So we're just going to place one hand onto the same side shoulder, and we're just going to do gentle circles. Doesn't matter what direction you go in or what direction you start in, we're going to be doing both directions. If you have the flexibility and the coordination, you can do both shoulders at the same time. So again, it just depends on where your ability lies and how intense you want to make this today, okay? Fantastic. We're now going to use our full-size foam roller, or if you're doing a long beach towel, you can swap that in for here. So what we're going to do is we're going to place our bum right on the edge of that foam roller, and we're going to lie down onto the foam roller, making sure that our head is on the foam roller. Knees are in, or legs are in this bent position, feet are firmly on the floor. We're going to take a nice big breath in. On the exhale, we're going to let our hands come down to our side so we look like an A with our palms up. So here we're trying to open up the chest, let our pelvis relax into neutral, let our spine relax into neutral. We spend a lot of our days in this position, so this is just going to help us open and get some relief from that position. As we're breathing, we're going to slowly walk our hands around the clock, finding out where all those little juicy pockets are sitting, taking our time to breathe into each of those areas, feeling your chest open up, maybe your breaths are getting a little bit deeper. And we're going to work it so we can get our arms into that T-frame position. So here we should be able to expand that rib cage. Take a big belly full of breath and just hang out here. This stretch, guys, is a really super juicy stretch, so by all means take as long as you need to in this position, okay? Our next position we're going to get into is we're going to help our spine get into some extension. So again, we're spending a lot of time into that text position, and we want to just open that up today. So we can grab our long foam roller if we've got one, or if we don't, we can now swap towards our travel size roller. So what we're going to do is we're going to start roughly at the bottom of that rib cage. And take a nice big breath in. On that exhale, we're just going to lean our back over that foam roller. And then back up to a neutral. You can, if you want to, put your hands behind your head to support it as you come back into that extended position. You're then going to roll up towards the next vertebrae and do exactly the same thing. Nice big breath in. On that exhale, you're just going to sit those shoulders back, arching that back. Again, if you need to put your hands behind your head for that extra support, you can. And we're going to work our way all the way up till we get right up in between our shoulder blades into that final T-spine position. You may find that some areas you just can't move into, and that's fine. That'll be your work for progress. But now just kind of stick into those areas that it feels really juicy in and work through those. Okay, our next position, it's pretty seamless from here. We're going to roll onto our side. We are now going to try and roll into our subscap and teres minor and major. So these guys are part of our rotator cuff. Can often be culprits for some internal and elevated rotational pieces. So we're just going to see if we can alleviate some of that, and again open up some of that rib cage. It'd be nice to take some nice deep breaths in there, hey? So we're right nuzzled up into that armpit, and here we're just going to rock backwards and forwards. The ultimate goal is to get our hand here fully into that overhead position. Pick your level of intensity, and from here you're going to rotate your hand so that the palm's facing up and that the palm's facing down. Again, rotating, palm up, palm down, and you can roll backwards and forwards as you're doing this. If your range of motion only allows you to go to here, then just hang out in that position. And just really honing in on some of those juicy spots. Fantastic. Our next position that we're going to do, or one of our last positions that we're going to do, is we're going to get some of that T-spine rotation. Okay, so we just rolled out our T-spine through some spinal extension that we just did. So now we're going to add some of that rotational pieces. Okay, for the purpose of the video, I'm going to show you the movement with me in a seated position, and then I'll show you it on the floor. It's quite hard to see from this camera angle. So we'll be lying down. Imagine you've got that big zipper. So we're in this position. I'm lying down here. You're going to take your arm, you're going to zipper across, and then take your hand towards your hip and come across. So you're going to zipper across and hand down towards the hip. Okay? So I'll show you what that looks like in this times. In this view, knee is going to come on top of that foam roller, keeps our hips in neutral. Opposite arm is going to support your head. If you need a yoga block or if you're comfortable with it sitting like that, then by all means, again, choose your level of intensity today. Arm comes out in front. We're going to imagine we've got that big zipper. We're going to unzip and then take our hand down towards the hip. Back to our start position. We're going to unzip and take that hand down towards your hip. Unzip, hand towards hip. Unzip, hand towards hip. And obviously, guys, I've only shown you pretty much one side of the body apart from the shoulder rolls that we did. Now's your time to go and explore the other side of your body. And we're just going to redo our global assessment and just to see if it feels any different. So again, for the purpose of the video, I'm just going to go through our assessment. So we're here like we were to begin with. We're going to come down to that forward fold. See if that feels any easier. We're going to wave ourselves up into that standing position. Arms in that overhead, jaw up towards the ceiling. And just to see if that body feels any better. So like I say, guys, go and explore the second side for yourself. Enjoy, spend as long as you need to. Stay healthy, stay safe. Remember, there's always room to move.